up guys, it's Amanda and welcome back to my art channel. As you can tell by the title of today's video, this is going to be the long-awaited Copic collection video. Actually, I don't really know if it's that long-awaited, but a couple of you have asked and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. So I'm going to be going over all of the markers in my collection, not individually, but more the color families and blending families. I'll also be talking about my refills and some of the other Copic related art supplies that I own, and just a few disclosures to get out of the way. I know Copic markers are crazy expensive, you guys, but I've been building this collection for 8 years now, and I started buying them myself, buying them individually. Then I got my first Copic 36 set, and then a couple of years ago I purchased another 72 set, and since then I've been ordering them individually online wherever I can find the best value, and I've been focusing more on collecting refills so that way the markers are more sustainable. So I know they're expensive, I know, but it's something that I love and I use all the time, so I feel like I can justify spending the money. If you are younger, if you have never used Copic markers before, I highly recommend maybe only buying 1 or 2 in a few shades that you know you'll use, and seeing how you like them before you take the plunge and consider investing in something like a set or buying all of the markers at once. So that's just my advice for you right now, and I'm sure this is going to be a frequently asked question, so I figured I would just get it out of the way. I just counted and I have 209 Copic markers. I don't have all of them, but I have 209 and I have 93 ink refills. That was more than I thought. So now we know, now we can move on. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video. I'm also gonna show you guys some of the other Copic related stuff. So let's do that. All right, so I wanted to start with inking supplies, and if you look at this just at a glance, you might be thinking, none of those are Copic products. And you are almost 100% right. There is one singular Copic liner product, and that is this Copic liner SP in the size 0.03, and the only reason I own this one is because this is one of the only multi-liners I've found that comes in this size, and I really do like it. However, I don't own a lot of Copic multi-liners just because they're expensive, and the SP liners especially are a lot of maintenance. So I stick to buying something like these Sakura Pigma Micron pens because these are a great alternative and they are a little bit cheaper as well. However, if you guys do want me to go into a video talking about all my favorite inking supplies, I would be happy to do so. As you can see, I have a lot. So you can see all these odds and ends here. These are all of my Copic marker products that are not directly marker related, so I'm just going to go over these somewhat quickly. First, we have the ink cartridge refill for the Copic multi-liner SP pen. That looks like this. And then I also have the nib replacements, and if you've seen these nibs in person, you know how tiny they are. So I just have a couple of these, especially because they're so small, they do get worn down really quickly. I also have some marker nib replacements. I have some chisel nibs here, which do come on the sketch marker. And then I have the super brush nibs, which also come on the sketch marker. So just in case any of my nibs get really worn down, I can replace them with ease. Although it kind of sucks that the super brush nib pack only comes with 3 replacement nibs. The chisel nibs come with 10 replacements, and they aren't super cheap actually. I have some more nib replacements. I don't even use that pen this often anymore, so it's taking me a long time to go through these nibs, especially because there's 2 in a pack. Then I have this little device, which is currently stained with Copic ink, but this is a little tweezer guy that helps you to pull the nibs out when you are refilling them. So it's designed to clamp the chisel nib, and this kind of thing comes in handy because you're not getting the oils from your hands onto your marker nibs. But I do plan to go into detail in a separate video all about some Copic care tips. So if you're interested in seeing that, give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you would like to see in that video, but this is just sort of a tool to help you prolong the life of your markers. I also have these, which one tried to get away there. These are little, I guess you would call them syringes, but they're not sharp. So these are just like blunt-ended. Actually, they're kind of sharp. Maybe we'll just put the lid back on there. So these are designed to screw onto the tops of your ink refills and make it easier to refill your marker by sticking it all the way down into the barrel. I actually don't use these that often. I don't really find a need for them. I refill my markers just fine without them. I guess these might come in handy if you had a marker that was completely empty, but I do have these on hand just in case I ever want to use them. So yeah, I do have these. And then I also have a Copic Air can, and I have the air head attachment for it as well. So this doesn't connect to a pump or anything, it just has the condensed air, and then this just screws on to the lid under here. You can see here when you pop the cap off, this little mechanism here is designed to screw into this part right here. You just pop a marker and then you have a little trigger so you can create airbrush effects with your markers. I don't actually use this very often, and it's mostly because this air can is pretty limited and you can only use it so many times before it runs out, and then you have to buy another one, and if you buy it online it's really weird to ship it because it's like condensed air and they think it's like a bomb or something. I don't know. Now let's talk about my refills. So right now we are on top of my desk hutch, and I have this little case right here, which is where I store all of my ink refills. This used to be my actual marker storage. Oh, sorry, there's this little bottle cap elephant trying to make a cameo. Okay. Anyway, so I will link down below where I got this storage case. I got it from a website called stampandstorage.com, but I will link it down below as well. This used to be my actual marker storage, but since then I've kind of outgrown it. I think this holds about 160 to 180 markers. I can't remember exactly, but now it is reserved for most of my refills, and as you can see I kind of have them organized into earth tones, blues, blue-greens, greens, yellow-greens, yellows, reds, red, yellows, and violets, and my blue violets and my grays are actually in my actual marker case because I don't know if you can see. There you can. This last shelf of my storage case is actually filled with duplicate Copic markers that I don't have refills for, so I like to keep these here just until I get a refill for these markers. That way if I run out and I'm in a pinch, I can reach for one of these. So these are here for now, and then once I eventually get refills for all of these, I can migrate the rest of my ink refills into this case. Oh, and just for anybody who's wondering, I order most of my ink refills from dipblick.com and jerry'sartorama.com, and I'll have them linked down below as well. I'm not sponsored by them, but that is just where I find to have the best value for ink refills, so want to let you guys know. And also, this print is from Nikki, or The Imaginative Artist, and I love it. It's so cute, so check her out. So actually, really quickly before I show you my marker storage and all of my markers, I wanted to briefly mention my color charts, because color charts are pretty much essential for any marker user, and if there is a color chart available for the brand of markers that you use, I highly recommend you get it and you utilize it, because it is going to make your marker experience so much easier. And as many of you know, Copic markers are based on a color coding system, which there's a little example of right down here. I've done a video about the Copic marker coloring system as well, so I can try and link that in a card somewhere. It's a really old video though, so maybe it's not even that good, and I'll just link down the Copic marker website because that might be a better resource for you. But this is just the hand color chart that is available on Copic markers website. Again, I will have it linked down below, and these are all my Copic markers that I have. They're obviously hand colored in. Like I mentioned, I have 209 markers at this very moment, and these are all of the colors. So it's a little overwhelming to look at it all at once, but what's really handy about something like this is that you can kind of see the certain color groups or blending families. Obviously they're already separated by color family, and you have your blue violets, your reds, your red yellows, your yellows, yellow greens, your blue greens, your blues, earth tones, and then all of your grays. I'm also going to be doing a video very soon about Copic color dupes within the Copic color range, so definitely look forward to that, because I started prepping for that video the other day, and there's a lot. So stay tuned for that, subscribe so you don't miss out. But this is just my Copic color chart that shows you all of the colors consecutively based on their color family. Then I also have this color chart, and this is the hex chart. You have to purchase this one. It is not free, but it's only like $5 for digital download, and I do highly recommend it. I altered mine so that the grays here are just the same gray chart from this chart here, which was really easy to do, but I just did that because the grays were not otherwise featured on this page. So I will link down below where I downloaded this from as well. But what I love about this is that it really shows you all of the colors that are close to each other or just really similar. And you might be thinking like, well, why do I need to know that if I have this? This shows you similar colors that may exist in different color ranges or color families. That can be helpful because you might not think to go to another color family for a similar color, where this chart will show you that they actually do exist. For example, the best example that I can think of is crossing between like your reds and your red violets, because some of the red violets have a lot of purple and are very cool toned, whereas some actually pair really well with the warmer reds. So that's just one example. The other reason that this is really helpful is as you're growing your collection, you obviously are trying to save money and really only invest in the colors that you need, and having a chart like this has been really helpful, because anywhere where there's a gap that's surrounded by colors I already have, I don't really feel like I need that color, because obviously I have a lot of similar colors like it. So for example, with R21 and R14, I feel like I can wait on those, and maybe I should work on expanding this part of my collection or this part of my collection before I invest more up here where I don't really need it. So that is why I recommend the hex chart. Again, it is not free, but it is fairly inexpensive, and it is super helpful. So I will have that link down below. I will have the free chart link down below. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we can finally get into the Copic marker part of the Copic marker collection video. Okay, so really quickly before I set my tripod down, I just wanted to give you a wider look at my Copic storage unit. I will have this link down below as well. I got it from Amazon. It wasn't super cheap, I'll be honest with you, but I have found it to be really helpful. One thing to point out though is that when mine came in the mail, it came broken. So you can see here, we kind of repaired it ourselves, and it works great. It's just a little uneven, but honestly, that doesn't bother me, but you can definitely see when it's laying flat against this bottom shelf, it is a little crooked. But I don't care, because what it does is it stores my markers horizontally, which is very good for longevity. It also makes it really easy to see all of the colors that I have, and I can organize them the way I want to organize them. And I pretty much organize mine the same way that it's laid out in the Copic marker hand color chart. So that's just what I find to be the most helpful, but I am going to go through and explain all of the different colors and point out some of my favorites. Also, just a quick note, here's the rest of my ink refills. These are my grays and then my blue violets, just because these are my most used markers pretty much, especially the grays. The earth tones too, but especially the grays. And I also have this Copic various ink refill for the colorless blender. I have the large size, which I use with a brush to create various techniques. And then I also have the small size for refilling the actual colorless blender marker, because this tip here is not designed to refill the actual markers. It's too big. So that's why I have both. I also have my little succulent friend here. And you guys, he needs a name. I got some name suggestions last time, but he really needs an official name. So comment down below what you think I should name him. All right, so I'm going to start with this color family right here, which is the BV color family, and I'm going to start with the BVO markers. And if you're familiar with the Copic marker coloring system, you know that the first number after the letters is the saturation number, 0 being the most saturated, 9 being the least saturated, and then the second number after the letters is the lightness or darkness number. 0 being the lightest, or sometimes multiple zeros if it's a really, really light color, and 9 being the darkest. So these two numbers aren't necessarily correlated, and that's why I say I'm going to be starting with the BVO color group. You guys with me? All right. So in the BVO color group, I have 4 markers, and these 3 especially blend really nicely together. And you guys know BVOO is one of my favorites, and it's going to be the star in a very upcoming video very, very soon, so stay tuned. In the BV1 family, I only have 1 marker, and it's honestly very similar to this one, but I will save that for the Copic dupes video, so stay tuned for that. I have, I believe, all of the colors in the BV20 family, and these all blend really nicely together as well. BV31 is another one of my favorites. I use it a lot, and if you guys watch my videos, you know. V000 is one of those ones that is just super, super, super light, and it's really nice if you're working with very pale skin tones and you want to add like some blush or an undertone. It's really pretty. In the V0 family, I only have 1 marker, but I do have, oh, actually I have 2. I have this one and this one. And I have, I believe, all of the V's in the teens family, which are all beautiful colors, and I love them. V22 here is kind of a standalone marker. I don't really have a lot that I blend with that, so it's just kind of hanging out there, you know, doing its thing. And then I have the V90 family here, which I love. The V90s are such beautiful colors. V99 is such a great alternative to black, and I love using that. And these are just really awesome muted purple colors, so I really, really love those. Coming over here to the RV color family, I don't have a lot of colors in this family in general. You can see I only have 9 colors, and it's not a very big color family to begin with, but I'll just quickly go through this here. So I have 2 colors in the RVO color family, 2 colors in the RV10 family, or RV teens family, I don't know, the RV1 family. I have 2 colors in the RV20 range, 1 color in the RV30 range, and 1 color in the RV40 range, 1 color in the RV60 range. So one of the biggest issues that I have with the RV color family range is just that I don't have a lot of colors that blend really well together. They are all kind of very distinct colors, so it's hard to blend these kinds of colors together. On to the red color family, you can see I have quite a few reds, and I use reds a lot in my artwork. R00 and R02 are some of my favorites. You guys know that if you watch my videos, and I use these a lot when coloring skin tones. RV05 is a recent favorite, and it's very similar to R08, so they pair really nicely together. In the R20 family, I believe I have all of them, or almost all of them. I'm missing RV21, that's the only one. But again, I don't really feel like I need that one at this time. Or I'm sorry, R21, not RV21. I have RV21. So I'm missing R21, that's the only one that I'm missing from this color range. And I use these colors a lot. These 3 in particular blend really, really well together. These 2 are honestly very similar. Now into the R30 range, I don't really have something in between these 2 colors, and all of my deeper reds are very similar but only slightly different, so they are enough to kind of justify owning all of them, because you can add different levels of depth and dimension with these colors. So I love my deep reds, and then I have this one lone desaturated red, which is still really pretty. I just don't use it as much because I have all of these lighter kind of pinky shades, and I have refills for these, so I'm more inclined to use these. Now just scooching over a little bit so that we can see the YR color family. This color family has a lot going on with it, and it honestly has a lot of variety, so I have a strong appreciation for this color family. As you can see, the YR0 colors are very good light beigey colors. So they're great for environments, they're great for skin tones, and just blending out darker neutral colors. So I use these a lot. YR02 is such a pretty peachy pink kind of color, so I really like that one for skin tones as well. YR14, YR23, and YR24 are very golden colors, so they almost err more on the side of yellow, which is interesting because in between this color range you have some very bright, vivid oranges that look very, very different from these more golden tones. Then you kind of get into some more pinky colors. Again, YR30, one of my favorites, YR21, another star of this color family, and that's pretty much it for the YR group. I didn't have a lot of oranges in my collection for a while, and I'm so glad that I do now because like these really deep oranges are so pretty and I love them. Now on to the yellow color family. Let's move you over a little bit so we can see without the glare from my window. So Y00, one of my favorites, and I have a lot of the yellows that are in the very saturated end of this color family. So you can see I have pretty much all of them, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't start having some gaps until like Y18, Y19, that kind of thing. So, but I also don't really feel like I need those colors at this time because I feel like if I need a deeper yellow, I'm more likely to go to the orange side here in the YR color family than I am to find some deeper yellows, because the deeper yellows tend to get really muddy. Like you can see Y28 Lionette Gold. That's a pretty accurate it's like swatch on the cap. Some of these caps aren't accurate, by the way. That is something to be wary of. You always want to like look at swatches online before you buy a marker because it can be hard to tell just by the name and even the color coding number how this color is actually going to look when you receive it. So I love Y21, you guys know that. And I love these bright, happy yellows. For those of you who don't know, yellow is my favorite color, and this little color family makes me so happy. Now on to the yellow greens. I don't reach for the yellow greens all that often, I have to be honest with you. I don't really know what it is, but if I do reach for this color family, I tend to go for the more desaturated ones because I feel like these are actually really versatile. But I just find that same thing with the RV color family. I find a lot of inconsistencies and it's harder for me to blend the YG color family. This is also the color family where you can see I have my only two Copic original markers, and I actually do use these a lot because I love these deeper mossy greens. I think they're so pretty. But as far as like these two rows of markers, I just don't really use them that much. I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of biased towards my greens, which we will get into next. So the green color family starts right here with GOO, or goo, as I like to say. This is a really pretty color, but I'm gonna be honest, there is a dupe in the same color collection, and you will have to stay tuned for the Copic dupes video to find out what that is, but I tend to reach for the duplicate color over this one. And then GO2, really pretty, super unique color. I like this one a lot, I just don't use it a lot. I tend to use more of the greens that are down here, so let's move you down a little bit. So I use G21 and G24 all the time. I love these two greens. G85 is also growing on me as well, and G99 is an old favorite. This was one of my first Copic markers I ever bought. So yeah, I tend to like the greens over the yellow greens. That's just personal preference for me, but I just find that I have a little bit more variety, and the kinds of markers that I have in this color range blend better together than the yellow greens that I have. So on to the blue greens, and you guys probably know that I freaking love this color family. You can see I have quite a lot in this color family, so let's just get into it. BG10. BG10. Oh my god, I love this marker. This is my all-time favorite Copic marker color. I use it even when I don't need to use it. I just use it because I love it, and it's just I love it. It's perfect. It can do no wrong. And as far as the more saturated blue-green colors, I don't really find myself reaching for these a lot. They're really beautiful. I just don't use this color a lot in my artwork. However, I do use a lot of these more desaturated blue-greens, and these are so pretty. BG70 is really nice if you're blending out blue colors, and I use this as an alternative to the colorless blender a lot. BG72 is like the perfect denim color. I love this color, and these are just, they're really pretty. They all go beautifully together. Same thing with like the BG90 color family. Ugh, this color, obsessed, obsessed. These are also really good for like nighttime scenes, like these BG70s, BG90s, really pretty. On to the blues, and I have a lot of blues, guys. There's just a lot of blues in Copic markers collection in general, and I tend to have a good amount of those here. So B000 is one of my favorites. You know I use this a lot too. Like I use BG10, I just use it to just add dimension and undertones to things, and it's really pretty. These brighter ones I actually don't reach for a lot. Like this B0 family, not my fave. It's pretty, but I just don't use it a lot, except for if I'm coloring like a sky scene. So I do have refills for some of these markers, even though I don't use them regularly, just because when I do use them, I have to color a very large space. I love this color family. B12 is really pretty. B21 is an old favorite, and I've had this marker in my collection for a long time. B18 is really nice for nighttime scenes, as are any of these markers really. And I love creating depth in my night skies with these colors. B24 is another pretty one, and I really love the desaturated blues, the B40s and the B90s. Really, really pretty. Now we start our trek into the earth tones, and you probably guessed I have a lot. Earth tones are one of the most versatile color families that there is, and it's going to be the color family that you likely use the most in your artwork, especially if you're creating illustrations. So let's delve into it. These three right here were the first like Copic skin tone markers that I ever purchased, and I actually don't use them as skin tone markers anymore, really. I just find that now they're a little bit too pink for the skin tones that I typically create, but they're a throwback. They're an OG marker trio here. E04, one of my favorite markers. I love this for adding depth to skin tones, and especially like darker to medium skin tones. This one's really pretty. E07, E08, E09, these are my go-to redhead hair colors. They're so pretty for creating auburn hair. So is E15 and the E11, E13, E15, E17, E18 color family. These all blend really beautifully together. I also love my deeper earth tones. So E29 is a really nice deep, warmer undertoned brown, and it pairs really nicely with this one here. I love the E30 color family. It's one of my favorites, and I have all of the markers in there, I believe, except I may be missing one. Yeah, I'm missing E34, but again, I don't really feel like I need it. And then these two are pretty as well. I use E40 and E41 for really, really pale skin tones, or to blend out other earth tones in place of the colorless blender. All right, guys, we are at the bottom row here. This didn't go on forever like I thought it was going to. E43 and E44 are some of my favorites. They're beautiful, kind of yellow, ashy browns, really pretty. I love E49, again, as an alternative to black, because I think it's just a little bit softer and isn't quite as harsh and bold as black. I love the E50 color family, especially E50 and E53, because these are so great for skin tones. My next favorite color family is definitely the E70s though, because these are so pretty. They almost have like a purple ashy undertone, whereas like the E40s are a little bit warmer. These are like almost purpley, like a taupe, and I think that's so cool. You can see how drastically the browns kind of vary when you when you put like E70 and E07 side by side. You're like, there's no way these are both in the same color family, but they are, and that's why the E color family is so cool. And then E79 is a little bit lighter than E49, so it's also another great alternative to black. E99 is actually a color I don't use that often. Same thing with E93, which is like a straight up pink. Like, what are you doing in this color family? You don't fit in. And then the E80 color family, which is just your typical baby puke yellow brown color. Really nice, really nice. Now on to the grays, and the grays are another essential and another staple when you're building your Copic marker collection. I highly recommend getting you some grays. The only complete gray color family that I have is the cool gray color family. But one thing that I'll mention is that once you get past like the C or like the 7 or 9 mark, they all look the same. They're all just dark. So there's not a lot of difference between like say C7 and N7 or C9 and N9. But you have the cool grays, the neutral grays. I don't have very many tonal grays, and that's just because if I want to go for a warmer gray, I'm gonna go for warm gray. Warm gray is like the love of my life, especially warm gray 1, warm gray 3. I love these colors. They're so pretty, and they just add a really cool effect to a lot of my illustrations. So I reach for the warm grays a lot just because they don't quite desaturate a picture as much as the cooler neutral grays do. Then this last little row right here, we have my only fluorescent marker, which is FYG1, and I hardly ever use it. It's honestly like running out of ink and I never use it, so it was probably dried out at the store. I have my colorless blender marker, and I have my black and my special black. It's not even that special. You don't even feel that special when you own it. So don't buy it. Don't buy it. And then we have my lone Prisma Premier marker, just hanging out by himself.
All by myself. Don't wanna be all by myself.
Alright guys, and that completes this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions or you would like me to go into detail about something, just leave me a comment down below and I will definitely reply to you. And again, all links to every product that I mentioned that you can buy, I will link down below. I will link down below where I buy my markers online, where I got my storage cases, where I got all of the accessories and everything like that. So definitely check the description bar down below for some links. And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you made it all the way to the end. I appreciate you. And also, just make sure that you subscribe because I am going to be doing a lot of Copic related videos very, very soon. I'm also going to be doing the 5 tips video that is coming out soon. 5 tips how to instantly improve your drawing. And so look forward to that. Subscribe, and I will see you guys Friday with my Artsy Fartsy Friday video for the week.